I'm going to show you how to make a really simple orchid planter stroke bromeliad hanging exhibition planter, almost for air plants as well. And guys, once you get the hang of it, you're not going to want to make one. You're going to want to make 20, because there's a bit of therapy involved in the process of making this beautiful symmetrical hanging basket display unit. Let's call it that. So guys, this is the unit, and really spectacular. We haven't adjusted the chain yet on this guy, but you're seeing the beautiful symmetry. It's one size of wood, and it's literally that beautiful repetition. Very sturdy, of course can go outside because of the way that we treated the timber. And this can be adjusted to different sizes. All it means that you make your unit measurement just slightly longer, but the basics remain the same. So in order to get started with this, I need you to do the following. What we have here are 19 pieces of pine. It's 22 mils by 22 mils. Really simple, okay? Now, we've already cut ours into 200 millimeter lengths. And guys, you need 19 of these, 19, okay, to complete this guy. Our first step in our timber process is drilling the holes. Now, guys, the holes have to be in each and every one all the way down. What we've done is we've made what we call a jig, and it's very simple, guys. It's one of the offcuts that you've got, and all I want you to do is 10 mils in from the edge. You are going to drill a hole straight through, and the size drill bit that you're going to use is 6 mils. And what we do now is, look how easy we've made it. We take this little guy here, we pop him there, and then yunk, straight through. And then you flip it round and you do the same, straight through. So let's clear the deck and let's get going with it. You're going to be drilling your 2 holes on either end into all of them except 3. So before you get too excited about doing all the holes, put these 3 aside so you don't get mixed up. After you've drilled the holes, then give all your pieces of wood a light sanding, remembering the sides as well. After a light sanding, all I want you to do is take a cloth and give them a quick wipe down. We're then going to start by giving them all a good wipe down with some mineral turpentine. Couple of minutes and your pine is dry and ready for its first coat of sealant. Right folks, we're ready for our first coat of sealant, and this is one of 3 coats. And it's really important that you don't try and skip out one of these. 3 is what the instructions say. We're using a Woodok 50 Marine, which is a matte sealant. Very importantly, when using the product, is to never shake it. Open it up using a screwdriver and a flat paddle. Give it a good stir. Very durable to water, repellent. It certainly does seal it incredibly well, considering that our orchid planter is going to get a lot of water to it and it's going to be outside. So it does make it last a long time. Because the Woodok Marine Matte is a clear product, if you want to enhance your final product, you can always use Woodok Stain Concentrates with the clear, just to bling it up a bit. Once your first coat of sealant is on, allow it to dry, and then take some fine steel wool and give it a quick buff, and that gets rid of all other little bits of wood flecks that might have been there. Once again, dust it off with a dry cloth and then give it a wipe down with some mineral terps. Once you've completed that, then your second coat of sealant can go on. Once your second coat is dry, you follow the same process again. Light sanding with the steel wool, a bit of a buff, clean it off, wipe it down with mineral terps, and then you are ready for your final coat. Right folks, so everything is dry, most of the prep is done. We now start getting to the assembly. So what I've got here is a 1 meter length of 6mm thread bar, and I've got some wing nuts here. Now what I've done is we want to end them up like this. We need 4 of those because those are going to go through where we've drilled. Kind of makes sense. Okay, but you've all experienced this when you've hacksawed through and sawed through some thread bar and then you can't get this wing nut back on. So as a tip, put them on already. Just measure this here. So we're just going to make a quick dot. And once we have cut it, we then use the wing nut and we unscrew it. And therefore, what it does is it just brings the thread back onto your thread bar. So it makes it easier when we're putting it together. Oh, look at that. Right, guys, first thing we want to do is get these gadgets. And we've got 4 of them, and it's called a thread bar loop. Quite a clever little guy. So we want to get them just on and get it through nice and flush there. Do that, and then we are going to start assembling, but you assemble layer by layer. Or else if you start going with one and build it all the way up, you're going to be playing with very difficult angles. So it's best to rather build your square up as you're going along. So get this baby on, and then you guessed it, it really is quite simple. We pop that baby in there, and we're going to do the same on this side. So, and we're basically building it upside down. All right, then this guy then goes on, and you kind of got the idea. He goes in here, all right. This baby goes there, all right, and that baby goes over here. So as you then building your little Rubik's Cube, you can start, this is probably the most difficult part, and then you just start popping these guys on. But because we use the jig, it does make life a whole lot easier. Right, come on baby. And so you continue. Nothing the little hammer with the rubber end can't sort out. I did think a mallet would be a little bit of an overkill. However, anyway guys, we have got this together. We have been left with 2 slats which have the holes in them, and the 3 slats that did not have any holes drilled in them. And the reason for that is because those are going to be our base. So these 3 guys, we're popping a little bit of wood glue onto the ends, and it's pretty easy. 1, 2, and our 3rd one. Make sure they're in place, and then we can go with our last 2. Are you well behaved? Now our remaining last bits, our wing nuts, which we are then going to attach. And as we tighten these, so we're going to bring everything together. Great stuff. Now what we do is we have got 5 of these little D shackles. Now 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one is used to hold the 4 pieces of chain together. We have got 4 pieces of chain here, which are all equal length. And of course, depending on where you're going to hang it, you can then choose your length to suit your situation. So we just take this little guy, open him up, pop him over here, and then close him up. And this ain't gonna come loose anytime. Ooh, caramba! Ooh, ooh, ooh. All it's missing is a beautiful plant. So whether it's a bromeliad or a tillandsia, folks, really, it's up to you. You could even plant a plant that requires soil in here by simply using some WeedGuard, which you would then tack onto the inside, but you're still getting those lovely lines and that geometric shape. So, but for me, tillandsia hanging near the trees, I think this could work. So all we're going to do is we've got a bit of coconut husk, coir, and all we do is we take that and we line it in here. Because remember, tillandsias are air plants. It's a type of an air plant. So you keep this very simple. You could, of course, just put the pot in there, but I really don't want to see the pot because I've built this beautiful mechanism to look gorgeous. And the last thing I want to look at is a black pot. And then we take our said tillandsia, squeeze, 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 take them out, and try and keep your soil structure there. There we go. And then in this little baby goes, oh my mommy. Oh my goodness. Come on now, we've got to find a place to hang you. And that's it, guys. So simple, so easy. And as a gift idea, this one is an absolute winner. So, hi ho, it's off to the garden I go.